The Colorado Springs Metro Crime Laboratory began in 1993 as a joint forensic laboratory supported by the Colorado Springs Police Department and the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. At inception, the laboratory offered services in crime scene, latent prints, toxicology, and drug chemistry. Currently, the laboratory maintains 5 main forensic disciplines, offering several forensic services with 25 employees. The Metro Crime Lab responds to violent crimes throughout the El Paso County area. Once we collect evidence from the crime scene, we bring it back to the crime lab and process it through the several different forensic disciplines that we offer.
Crime scene investigation involves the identification, collection, and preservation of evidence. We use a variety of documentation methods and analysis to accomplish that. I think one of the really big challenges that we face as a crime scene unit is perhaps the perception and understanding of what the job itself actually is. Crime scene investigation has been highlighted so much by TV and highly glamorized. There's not the same kind of understanding of what actually goes into how long a crime scene may take to process, the types of conditions, and just even the general understanding and amount of knowledge that we have to have in so many other forensic disciplines so that what we do in our crime scene documentation can be successful and how it may directly impact future forensic analysis. We are a small piece of a very large puzzle and collaborative effort within the justice system, and I think that's what is really rewarding to us. It's our way to be a voice behind the scenes and play a role in bringing justice to a victim, bringing closure to a family that has been through a really difficult and violent situation.
The latent print unit is responsible for processing items of evidence submitted to the lab for latent fingerprints and for conducting examinations of prints from items of evidence and from crime scenes collected by officers and CSIs in the field. I became interested in latent fingerprints shortly after I started with the lab. I was hired on as a crime scene investigator, and about 1 year into my career I started to become interested in fingerprints. I do enjoy fingerprint comparisons. It's always something different. It's kind of like solving a little puzzle, so it's rewarding when you're able to find where the latent print impression is in a record print.
At the Metro Crime Lab, we conduct both processing and examination of 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional impressions, and then compare those to both shoes and tires that are collected and suspected to be involved with crime scenes.
Just like a lot of the other forensic sciences, it's just another discipline that we use at the police department to bring the case all together.
My unit is comprised of 3 firearms examiners, 2 full-time and 1 part-time, and 2 NIBIN technicians. And we are responsible for processing all the firearms-related evidence that comes into the department. We perform things like mechanical functioning evaluations of firearms that are submitted to the lab in an effort to determine whether or not they function and whether or not they function the way the manufacturer intends. We do tool mark comparisons, most commonly tool marks associated with fired bullets and cartridge cases, to determine if a particular firearm is related to recovered evidence at a scene. We do serial number restoration, and we get involved in a variety of elements of shooting incident reconstruction. We are also heavily invested in the NIBIN program, and NIBIN stands for the National Integrated Ballistics Information Network. That network is a database of images of firearms evidence, and the purpose of that database is rapid case linkage. So if a firearm is used in one area of the city one day and then the following evening it's used in another area, those cases can be rapidly associated to provide investigative lead information to our detectives.
Biology unit has 2 main goals. Serology screening, where we're looking for body fluids on items of evidence, and the DNA process, where we're attempting to develop a DNA profile from an item. An average day in the DNA unit consists of either processing in the laboratory, where we're processing items of evidence, or we actually do spend a lot of time at our computers doing data analysis. A lot of people watch CSI and they think DNA can be done in minutes or hours. That is a misconception in our unit, that it does take a long time to identify the stains and take it through all the processes to actually get the results. And a name just doesn't pop up on a computer screen like you tend to see on shows like CSI. The DNA unit can come in at any point in the case. Sometimes we're involved right away when they're high-profile cases and there's a lot of information that's unknown to the detectives. And sometimes it's further down the line once they have their case ready and we're processing evidence for presentation in court.
We're the forensic chemistry unit, so one of the things that we do within the laboratory is we provide an important role in providing chemical analysis of physical evidence materials. For forensic chemists, their main responsibility is conducting chemical analysis of physical evidence to basically characterize it chemically and to provide identification of it. We will receive evidence through evidence section, bring it back into the laboratory, we'll document its condition and document it photographically, and then we'll conduct analysis of it. The challenges that we do have on a regular basis have to do sometimes with a lot of changes within drug chemistries that are occurring in our society. So in other words, over the years we've seen some basic types of drugs that are very similar, but now we're seeing a lot of designer drugs that are coming in and that are changing that. One of those that has really been prominent, that has posed a challenge for us, has been fentanyl. The increase of fentanyl has been substantial, and of course that has a risk for everyone involved. Maintain safety and yet continue with our analysis and provide the analyses that are necessary. We're always sensitive to those areas of chemistries that are changing and the threats that they pose.
Bloodstain pattern analysis is the study of bloodstains in any given scene, in a vehicle, item of clothing, on a person. With this analysis, we're going to look at the size, shape, distribution, location, orientation of those stains. And based on those physical characteristics, we may be able to tell sequence of events, the type of weapon that was used, or correlate an injury with a specific bloodstain pattern, as well as give movement of individuals throughout the scene. A lot of times, bloodstain pattern analysis is used in scenarios where we don't know what happened. We walk into a scene and there's just a lot of blood. I would say that bloodstain pattern analysis is a two-part process. We have the documentation part on scene that's very extensive. We want to take a bunch of photographs, and then the analysis really starts when we get back to the office. A lot of it is based off of photographs, which is great because we can zoom in as far as we need to, but we can also sometimes see things that we wouldn't necessarily see on a scene.
So we do two main types of sketching. So we'll do John Doe sketches. So if an unidentified individual is found and they need an actual image of them put out to the public, we will sketch from any post-mortem photos that they provide to us, and then we can put that sketch up for the public to help identify that person. The second sketch that we do is like a stranger sex assault type of situation. So there's always a victim or witness, and we're drawing from their memory. My favorite part is being able to put this hobby that I've had my whole life to good use and to help families have closure and help cases move forward in their investigation.
I would say one thing that the public should know about the Crime Lab is that we have one. We are a fully accredited crime lab offering several different forensic services, and that's pretty unique throughout cities in the United States. For example, in Colorado, we are one of 6 crime labs or laboratory systems that exist and offer forensic services.